Hello and welcome to our monthly meditation. My name is Scott Quinn. Thank you for joining us for our Marin Interfaith Council monthly gathering, at which we have a different faith leader, person on a spiritual path, lead us in a meditation or spiritual practice. And we're very blessed to have with us tonight Ayya Santacitta. Santacitta Bhikkhuni was born in Austria and did her graduate studies in cultural anthropology, focusing on dance, theater, and ritual. She also worked in avant-garde dance theater as a performer and costume designer. In 1988, she met Ajahn Buddhadasa in southern Thailand, who sparked her interest in Buddhist monastic life. She trained as a nun in England and Asia from 1993 until 2009, primarily in the lineage of Ajahn Chah. Since 2002, she also received teachings in the lineage of Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche. Santacitta Bhikkhuni co-founded Aloka Vihara in 2009 and received Bhikkhuni ordination in 2011. She's committed to Gaia as a living being and resides at Aloka Earth Room, currently located in San Rafael, California. We're honored and blessed and so grateful that you're here with us tonight. Ayya Santacitta.
You did this very well with all of the names, Scott. I'm impressed. Because most people wouldn't have been able to do it as well as you. So good evening, and I know only, besides Scott, I know also Molly Arthur, who is quite regularly coming to the Aloka Earth Room. Hello, Molly, lovely to see you. Yeah, so, Reverend Scott was saying that I'm residing at the Aloka Earth Room, which is a contemporary temple space here in San Rafael, where I'm sitting right now. And, the vision of the Earth Room is to share practices with interested people, in particular to understand more fully that we are all part of a living, intelligent Earth, and that we have a direct line into that intelligence by the fact that our bodies and the body of the Earth are one. They are made of one and the same components. And in the Buddhist teaching, we have a very sturdy body on meditation teachings, which can help us to have a direct experience of that. And through that, having that direct experience, we start to, our perception changes. And then if our perception changes and expands, we can see solutions, for ourselves and for our world, which we couldn't see before. So I'd like to share with you the meditation on the elements, which is a very ancient meditation which comes to us from Iron Age India. That was the time when the Buddha lived there. And it's a meditation on having a direct experience of earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, and space element as it presents itself in our bodies. And, in the Buddha's dispensation, we understand that the body is as a riding animal for consciousness, so that consciousness can have experiences, and through those experiences, it expands and clears. And the summum bonum of the practice in the Buddhist teaching is called full awakening, or nirvana, it's also called. You might have heard that word. So, really understanding that we are participants of the planet and that we need to do things differently. And we are all a bit confused, how to really implement that on a big scale. But we do have this capacity, to connect with this self-regulating intelligence of the planet and receive our guidance from that. And in the Buddha's, the story about the Buddha's life, it said, that in the night of his awakening, he was touching the earth and asking the earth to be his witness that he has done his work. And you can see, quite a few Buddha statues where his left hand touches the earth, called the earth touching mudra. And that reminds us of that fact, that even, this long time ago, it was very, very clear that without the support of the earth and everything which is offered to us, we could never even survive for a moment. Everything what we own, everything what we eat, everything what we drink, breathe, it all comes to us from the earth and goes back to her. And to bring that more into a direct experience is what this meditation is all about. So let us get started by finding a posture we can sustain for about 25 minutes or so, 25 to 30 minutes. And allow your breath to take you into the body. And sensing the gravity which gently pulls our bodies towards the ground. Then maybe tap your teeth together and feel at the hardness of the teeth. That's a direct experience of earth element, which stands for hardness as opposed to softness and for structure. And we can sense the earth element, in particular in the bones of the body. And we can just start on the top of the head, sweeping down with our awareness, sensing hardness, the top of the head, and then sweeping down over the face and the neck, hardness, earth element, bones. And you don't need to do anything in particular, just allow your mind to respond as it hears the word earth element, bones. And then from the neck, we are sweeping over the shoulders, earth element, bones. And then over the arms, down to the hands, earth element, bones. And then we come to the torso with the rib cage and the spine, earth element, bones. Hips, the pelvis, earth element, bones. And the legs, earth element, bones. And the feet, earth element, bones. This whole body is permeated by earth element. Earth element internally in the bones and externally in the rivers and the rocks and the mountains is exactly the same earth element. Earth element is empty of a self. And if we don't ingest earth elements through eating for like 1 or 2 months, the body is not able to sustain itself. So we never cut the umbilical cord towards the planet. And then in order for earth element to form a body, there needs to be cohesion. And that brings us to the next element, which is water element, which makes about up 70% of the body. And, we can be aware of water element in the body, in the flesh, the softness of the flesh, which is permeated by liquids, such as blood and other liquids. And we're just starting by being aware of the flesh in the feet. And then from the feet, we are sweeping up over the legs, flesh, water element. And then from the legs, we are coming to the pelvis, the hips, flesh, water element. And then the torso, flesh, water element. And the hands, flesh, water element. Arms, flesh, water element. Shoulders, flesh, water element. Neck, flesh, water element. The head, flesh, water element. This whole body is permeated by water element. Water element internally in the flesh, and water element externally in the rains, the rivers, and the oceans and lakes is exactly the same water element. Water element is empty, empty of a self. And if we don't, take in water element for about 5 days or so, the body is shutting down. It's completely dependent on that constant exchange, drinking and going to the bathroom, drinking and replenishing the water element. So we never ever, cut the umbilical cord. And in order for the body, to use the water element, it needs to be of a certain temperature. If it's too cold, it freezes. If it's too hot, it evaporates. And that brings us to the next element, fire element, which stands for temperature, hot as opposed to cold. And we can sense that on the skin, the surface of the skin where it meets the air around us. So starting, at the top of the head, being aware of fire element, temperature, skin. Then we are sweeping down over the face and the neck, skin, fire element. The shoulders, the arms and hands, skin, fire element. Torso, skin, fire element. The hips, the pelvis, skin, fire element. And the legs, skin, fire element. And the feet, skin, fire element. This whole body is permeated by fire element. Fire element internally and fire element externally, which is coming to us from the sun, is exactly the same fire element. Fire element is empty, empty of a self. And these bodies, can live only in a certain temperature range, which can be expanded a little bit through heating and clothing and housing. They are dependent on that to be within a certain range. And then we can consider that heat is the result of friction, which brings us to the next element, which is the wind element, which stands for movement, pressure, and expansion and contraction. And we can be aware of it through the breathing process. With the in-breath, the body expands, and with the out-breath, it contracts a little bit. And if we stop breathing for about 3 minutes for most people, but some, can extend it up to 7 minutes, the body is going to shut down. It needs that constant exchange. So with the in-breath, you're being aware of the body expanding. The out-breath, relaxing into the space around us. Which takes us to the next element, the space element. Just listening into the silence. And the spaciousness. At the same time, you're being aware of the groundedness of the body. The manifest and the unmanifest. The planet, manifest, and the sky, the unmanifest. The heavens. And being aware now of our deep-rootedness in the planet, sending down roots with our out-breath. Into the deep earthiness of where we are sitting. And any worries or doubts, just letting them drop into the earth, who is so willingly there, to receive them, neutralize them. Then, with the in-breath now, we can focus more on the in-breath and breathing up that strength through the body. And with the at the top of the in-breath, sending out branches into the sky. From the crown of the head. Roots into the sky, so to say. And receiving the blessings, allowing them to rain upon us. And then, our hearts are like on the nexus point between the earth and the sky. And if you like, you could touch your heart area. And where your sacred purpose resides, the intelligence of the heart. Your particular gift, your particular contribution. And then, noticing that there is a little group of us, all of us, bringing our hearts here. And, what we would like to contribute and embody for the benefit of all sentient beings, not only human beings, but also the modern human world at this time of great transition, which needs all of us. So in a moment or so, I'm going to ring the bell, and when you hear the bell, maybe trying to stay connected with the body as you are opening your eyes and taking in the other members of our small group. I hope that did work for you. Don't really know how much meditation experience you do have, but I think you must have some, otherwise you wouldn't have come tonight. And you were sitting all very steadily, so I thought it was going fine.